The place was called Rosario, a softly lit Italian spot tucked between glass office towers in downtown Chicago. Exposed brick walls, jazz humming low, candles already flickering on the tables. Even chose a seat where he could see the door. Control mattered to him. It always had. He checked his phone. No new emails. Good. Blind dates made him uncomfortable, but his sister insisted. You don't meet people anymore, even. You screen them like job applicants. She wasn't wrong. Even believed habits built success. Every morning at subah ke 5:30 baje. Gym, coffee, black. Work by 7 से 30. No distractions. No emotional chaos. He'd watched too many friends lose focus after messy relationships. He told himself he was smarter than that. Then she walked in. Lena. She paused just inside the doorway, scanning the room, her coat still on. There was something calm about her, not nervous, not rushed. When her eyes met Evan's, she smiled and walked over. Evan, she asked. That's me, he said, standing quickly. Lena, yes. They shook hands. Her grip was firm, warm. Evan noticed that too. They ordered pasta for her, grilled chicken for him. Safe choices. Conversation started easily. Work, favorite neighborhoods, bad Chicago winters. Lena spoke thoughtfully, listening as much as she talked. She laughed freely, not to impress, but because she genuinely found things funny. Evan surprised himself by relaxing. This is going well, he thought. But habits don't sleep. They wait. As the plates were cleared, Evan did what he always did, steered the conversation toward the past. He believed history explained everything. So, he said casually, folding his napkin, were you ever married? Lena's fingers paused around her glass. Just for a moment. Evan clocked it immediately. Yes, she said. I was. Something tightened in his chest. Divorced? He asked. No, she replied quietly. Widowed. The word hung there. My husband passed away 3 years ago, she added, her voice steady. Car accident. Evan nodded, but his mind had already jumped ahead, flipping through assumptions he'd built over years, lingering grief, emotional comparison, being second to a memory. Before he could soften it, before he could slow down, the sentence escaped, sharp and practiced. I don't date widows. Lena looked at him, genuinely surprised. Oh, it's not meant to be cruel, Evan said quickly, leaning forward. I just believe in clean emotional slates. I don't want to compete with someone who isn't here. Lena studied his face, searching for kindness that wasn't there. I'm not asking anyone to compete, she said softly. Love doesn't work that way. Evan shrugged, defensive now. We've seen it go badly. People stuck in the past. I prefer clarity. Lena exhaled slowly, as if absorbing a truth she hadn't expected tonight. Then I suppose this ends here, she said, standing and reaching for her coat. I appreciate the honesty, she added, not warmly, not coldly. Just honest. As she walked away, Evan watched her leave, a strange heaviness settling in his chest. He told himself it was relief. But as the door closed behind her, the habit that had always protected him felt, just for a moment, like a wall that had cost him something real. Evan Brooks woke to his phone vibrating violently on the nightstand, slicing through his carefully ordered life. One look at the screen, unknown number, and his stomach tightened. Mr. Brooks, a calm voice said when he answered. This is Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Your mother has been brought in. She's suffered a severe stroke. The word stroke didn't register at first. Evan sat up, heart pounding, mind scrambling for logic, for control. I'll be there, he said, already throwing on clothes. The hospital was bright, cold, unforgiving. Evan paced the waiting room like a caged animal, suit wrinkled, hands shaking. His mother, strong, organized, the woman who had taught him discipline and habits, lay unconscious behind closed doors. For the first time in years, Evan felt helpless. Hours passed. Doctors came and went. No answers. No certainty. Then he heard his name. Evan. He looked up and froze. Lena stood there in navy blue scrubs, her hair pulled back, a hospital badge clipped to her chest. She looked tired, but her eyes were the same, steady, human. I work here, she said gently. I see Eunice. I saw your name on the board. Shame hit even harder than fear ever had. His voice cracked. I didn't know. Lena nodded. Life rarely asks permission. They sat together. Evan didn't know how long. Minutes, maybe longer. My mom is everything to me, he said finally, staring at the floor. And I keep thinking, what if I lose her? What if I wasted time? Lena listened. She always did. When my husband died, she said quietly, people thought my life stopped. Like love had an expiration date. Even swallowed. But it didn't, she continued. It changed. Grief became part of me, but so did gratitude. Loving him made me stronger. Losing him taught me how fragile time really is. A doctor approached. Evan stood instantly. Your mother is stable, the doctor said. She'll need months of rehabilitation. She may not fully recover, but she's alive. Evan exhaled, knees weak. Relief rushed through him, followed immediately by tears he didn't try to hide. Lena placed a hand on his shoulder, simple, grounding. I was wrong, Evan said, his voice barely above a whisper. I built rules so I wouldn't get hurt. But all they did was keep me small. Lena met his eyes. Habits are powerful, she said. They protect us until they don't. Weeks passed. Evan visited the hospital daily. Helped his mother relearn words. Held her hand. Slowed down. And he asked Lena to coffee again, this time without conditions, without checklists. I don't need a clean slate, he told her. I need a real one. She smiled, not because he'd changed overnight, but because he'd finally seen.